For over a century, international rugby was defined by long, grueling midweek tours, where national teams battled local provincial sides in the mud. But behind the bruising collisions, the sport had hit a wall. This was strictly an amateur game. Even the most elite players on the planet still had regular day jobs. You can see that duality in Rugby Clark, pictured here making a break for the Auckland Blues. In 1995, he was an elite international center on the weekends and a full-time Pacific Islands advisor during the week. Preparation was entirely grassroots. Clark's own fitness trainer, Don Oliver, was a champion weightlifter who owned a string of gyms while working full-time as a butcher. By the 1995 World Cup, crowds were filling stadiums and millions were watching from home. The sport was experiencing a surge in global popularity that its amateur roots weren't built to handle. By 1995, the sport was facing a structural crisis. Its global commercial footprint had outpaced its amateur infrastructure, reaching the absolute limit of what part-time preparation could achieve against the escalating physical demands of elite play. In late 1995, the governing bodies officially declared the sport professional. By early 1996, the Southern Hemisphere launched the Super 12 tournament, and the entire ecosystem shifted. Players quit their day jobs to train full-time. The jump in intensity was immediate, moving the sport to a specialized athletic career. The shift was so sudden that it caught the players off guard. Rugby Clark recalled going from having just 1 hour a week to perfect team moves to having 5 full days. The players joked that on that first Monday, they didn't actually know what to do after lunch. Coaches like Graham Henry, seen here delivering a halftime talk, quickly filled that extra time. They implemented higher conditioning standards and more complex tactical sessions. Professionalism was about more than a paycheck. It created a 24/7 athletic lifestyle, changing how the human body was utilized on the pitch. That extra time in the gym immediately changed the tactics of the game. Professional conditioning and high-altitude training allowed teams to maintain an expansive, breathless style for the full 80 minutes. The game became faster and more continuous than ever before. A traditional amateur-era defensive line was relatively static. As professional offenses got faster and wider, they outflanked those narrower formations. As amateurs tired, the spaces between them grew, and attackers pierced the line before the defense could react. The Auckland Blues became the first team to prove this on a championship stage. They dominated the inaugural 1996 season, finishing with a 45-21 victory over the Natal Sharks in the final. The scale of the game had changed. Looking at the crowds here at Eden Park, it's clear the professional era had arrived. The 1996 Super 12 season served as a definitive case study. It demonstrated that the traditional amateur playbook, built for a slower game, simply could not contain the high pacing of the professional era. This professional blueprint was soon put to the test on the international stage. In late 1996, the New Zealand All Blacks traveled to South Africa with a squad of 36 fully professional athletes. It was the first tour of its kind. The professionals succeeded where 75 years of amateur sides had failed. They won the Test Series in South Africa, earning them the title the Incomparables. The victory carried immense weight. These new professionals celebrated alongside amateur legends like Don Clark, pictured here, who had toured in 1960 and never managed to win a series on South African soil. But this progress came with a trade-off. The sport gained an elite global spectacle, but it lost the local, grassroots feel of the amateur era. 1996 did more than change how players were paid. It altered the physical expectations of the athletes and the structure of international tours, creating a high-performance model that organizations are still trying to reconcile with the game's local, amateur origins.